Welcome back in, you guys, to the prediction video for chapter 1177. That is right. We're in the midst of a break week, and with that being the case, it is time to drop our thoughts and predictions for the upcoming chapter of One Piece. And this time around, since it is a break week, I, of course, brought in a guest. The special, the one and only, Vision. Yes, so he's going to be joining me later in this video, but for now, you are stuck with me, because first things first, before we start talking about the next chapter of One Piece, I do like to go back and look at the previous week's predictions, just to see how many we got right, and most notably, wrong. So, getting right into it, look at this right here. At a quick glance, you can already tell that I'm going to get a lot wrong off rip, and that is because I thought we were going to get a very different chapter than what we actually got. You know, no harm there. I'm not upset at that whatsoever. I do love the Frankie stuff. I love Sanji versus Killingham. You know, seeing all the other Straw Hats work, I did enjoy it. But I gotta admit, I was expecting Loki, Luffy, Emu. We got none of them, brother. So, first prediction I had for 1176 was that Loki would get hit hard by Emu. Did not happen. Next up, I thought Emu would give orders to the God Knights, and this didn't happen. I gave this a 100% chance. I was that confident in it. And I'm gonna be honest, even though we didn't get Emu this chapter, I still expected Emu to say something over the voice comms. Like, hey, Killingham, Somers got taken out. Go get the other kids. Or, ooh, Killingham, be aware of Nika and Loki. Just something, you know what I mean? Emu so far is kind of just a mute, so to say. Next up, I thought that Emu would talk trash to Luffy and or Loki. Of course, didn't happen as well. And here's the thing, right? I always like to bring this up. While I didn't get this right for 1176, I still can see this happening in the future. You know, I think this is still in the cards. And as far as like Emu talking trash, I saw some people push back on this one, like, oh, you know, why would Emu do this? Why would they stoop to that level? My version of trash talk is kind of like what he said to Davy D. Zabek, where he was like, hey, you know, Davy Jones, is that you? The Davy clan is nasty. I thought that that's what he would say. And I feel like that falls in line with Emu's personality, right? They are someone from the Void Century. So seeing Luffy dash Sun God Nika and then seeing Loki dash Nidhogg, I think that will spur some old emotions to come forth. Kind of like how when Emu looked at rocks, he immediately thought of Davy Jones. Next on the board, the one thing I got right, but I said that Frankie should appear. You know, it's been so long since we've seen Frankie, I thought it was about time. And he didn't only just show up, he showed out, dude. Frankie with the new upgrade, that was beautiful. Next, because I did think it was going to be an Emu chapter, I thought that we'd see more of Gunko fighting back for control, maybe even see Brook while that's all happening. But again, since Emu did not show up, that is off the mark. Next, Luffy's attack would get blocked by Emu. Again, you know, like I said, we got a very different chapter than I was expecting. Maybe in the future, I'm going to start broadening these. Like, I'm not just going to stick with one central topic. I'll kind of like branch out a lot more. Like, you know, oh, we put Sanji here. Maybe we put Mihawk over there. You know, we're talking about Zoro over there. Just, yeah, I think I put all my eggs in one basket, brother. So, funny enough, this said Zoro versus Dorian Brogy. We didn't get this necessarily, but we did get Dorian Brogy. So this is like halfway correct. But at the end of the day, halfway is not what we're looking for. Next up, new Emu contract. I didn't think that this is super plausible, but I think we are in store for new Emu contracts. And I think it's about time too. As far as Domi Reversi goes, cool, whatever. But I think people just want more transformations from it, right? Because when he Domi Reversi Dorian Brogy, he used the curl contract. That means he has more. He should have more than one, right? So I am looking forward to that, but unfortunately, that is still not in the books. And last but not least, Loki's eyes would be explained. Dash, we could see an outside event besides Elbaph. And no to all of that. As you can tell, a lot of people kind of also expected more Emu stuff. But Oda, you know, is just keeping us in the dark when it comes to that, and that is totally fair. When it comes to these final villains, Oda does like to save them for the end of the arc. And that's generally how every arc in One Piece goes. Like, oh, Luffy's fighting Kaido. But before we wrap that up, before you see all of the events that transpire there, here's Frankie versus Sasaki. Here's Jinbei versus who's who. Yeah, we should have seen that coming. But alas, what can you do about it? So now that that is all said and done, time to move on to the 1177 predictions with Vision. as I just said, we have Par Vision here with us today. Par, thank you again for joining us in another prediction video. But here's the thing, man. People love you. You know, despite what your parents might have told you at an early age, everyone here does love you. And not just that, but last week, we got the most predictions right. Thanks to you. Well, not last week, but the week we brought you in, we got 6 out of 9, baby. Let's go. So, you know, just to break the record, you know, we brought you back in, man.
Oh, I'm breaking it in the reverse direction this time. We're here to unpredict things.
Yeah, we're here to get things wrong now. There must be balance.
We're gonna aim to get nothing right this time, but it's gonna sound good. It's gonna sound good. That's the difference, okay?
Oh, that's always the main part, right? Like, whether we get things right or wrong, that's not really the point. It's nice if we got a lot right. Don't get me wrong there. Generally, this is just for like the One Piece conversation, just throwing out ideas, just having fun. So speaking of that though, like what is your first prediction for 1177?
Okay, let's go with this one. This is foreshadow for a future prediction. The title of the chapter will be With Despair. Because this one is with pride. And so, you know, hint on wink wink at what I might be thinking. I don't want to elaborate here because we'll elaborate later, but with despair, I feel like makes a lot of sense to come off of a break week. We're feeling good off of this chapter. Oh, nothing to worry about. You know, we're all prideful. Nope. Hit us with that despair next week. Or 2 weeks. Break week.
So you think that we're going to get the despair line drop, whether it's from the title or just the chapter in general? Despair is the theme. I like that. You know, hey, I have been hoping that the God Knights would just make us despair one day. It hasn't happened yet, but, you know, I'm rooting for you on that one. So my first prediction is that we will get the Sanji flashback. We're going to see finally what Gabon was going to tell Sanji all those chapters ago. You know, like the whole thing where it's like, oh, Gabon, do I have Conqueror's Haki? Do I have it? And then Gabon says something, Sanji reacts to it. We don't know if it's a good reaction, a bad reaction, then we just move on. It's like, okay, I think we're finally going to learn what's up. Because Sanji was there for the God Knight conversation where Scopper's like, hey, they're not immortal. You know, be mindful of how you use your Conqueror's Haki. And it's like, okay, so since Sanji is fighting a God Knight now with Killingham, hopefully we learn what happened there. Like, does he have it? Does he not have it? Is he going to find a different solution? I think now's the time.
Yeah, that's an interesting... When you said flashback, I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
But... The flashback
like
to
that,
like 3 chapters ago in One Piece never that's I die every single time when we do something like that. We did that with like Yamato after Wano, right? We did a flashback to their conversation with Marco, Yamato and Marco or something like that. And it's like that was 2 chapters ago. What do you mean flashback, you know? That's just a backflash. Yeah, that's an interesting one because I do think that the fight isn't done here with Killingham, so the continuation, the confrontation, requiring that information. Maybe it's a little too early for it because Oda likes to do like with the Zoro King fight, right? Like he went through a whole fight and then he thought about his past. Sanji, kind of similar in the same thing, the way Oda structured that fight as towards the end part of the fight where he had that flashback that gave him that final boost. But it would be weird if he didn't think about what Scopper was saying right now when he's fighting the Holy Knight that he was tasked, like, told how to deal with, and this is the information. It'd be weird for him to hold on to that till like the end of the fight and be like, that's what he said 5 minutes ago. You know? So I agree. I think now next chapter would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, I didn't want to like go all in and say he gets Conqueror's Haki. I hope he does, you know, just to put him at that level. And I feel like, you know, generally when we make predictions for One Piece, it's tough. You know, sometimes the obvious answer is the answer. You know, people are saying, oh, it's the power of love. It's going to be this brand new Jirma upgrade. It's like, I like that. I don't mind it. But the most obvious route or simplest route is just, hey, Conquers Hockey. But we'll see. We'll see. So what do you have for your next prediction? What do you got?
This one's like not my least favorite, but I'm just confused about the structuring of how Oda is like. We speed up, slow down, whatever, but then we sometimes get information like in this chapter, like it was mainly the ODCs and then the Damir Verses, and in between that part, you know, we did get some of the Straw Hats fighting this worm on their own. Just a little bit, just a little section from like Rob and Nami. So I think that there might be like a mini school focus where like Lilith, Frankie, and Robin now are together. Lilith and Frankie have like information that they have, and Robin has information she has. And the thing is, one has the mural and one has the Harley text. And so I wonder if like now that they're regrouped at the school, does that all come together? And I doubt that we're going to get like the full info here, but it's like the setup for it, like a small little like thing of like, wait, then that means, and then we cut off and go somewhere else, right? So that's where I think like a little in between, a small mini school focus. This is kind of like what I said last week about the Straw Hats regrouping. It's kind of like, yeah, we're there. They haven't really like combined yet, but they both have the information to do a lot of like figuring things out with. I'm not saying that they're going to do a lot of figuring out part, but who knows what Lilith has been talking about and what Robin's plans are, what she wants to do or needs to do. A mini school section is what I wrote.
Yeah, that could mean a myriad of things. I know you kind of like correlated it back to like the Harley text and the mural, but it could just be something small too.
Yeah,
because I don't think they're going to talk about the mural or, you know, the Harley text right away. With everything that's going on, it feels like one of those situations where like, hey, that's cool. We could just talk about that like post Elbaph though, or like, you know, when everything is settled down, when the bad guys are gone. Next, I do think that Sommers is going to get up.
It's too soon.
The thing is that, you know, when it comes to Zoro, Hiredin, Stanson, Dorian, Brogy fighting the Giants, they're probably just going to win. They need some form of pushback. I think Sommers could be that guy. So that's why I'm putting it there. Like, you know, maybe Sommers does get back up, or at least we see like his hand, it starts moving, he starts twitching. We're going to see him. That's my prediction. I think we're just going to simply see Saint Sommers.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. It plays into what I said. It's just that I don't like the idea of it. Cause like I think about Garling losing to Rocks and then not getting up for like 3 chapters. And I'm like, I don't want to give Sommers getting clapped by Nika and then slammed by Loki and him like, and then he just gets up like, yeah, we're good. But like, I also see that. Hence the title idea. But it's not too out there. Especially I still, because you sent it to me afterwards and we didn't talk about it here. We talked about it on the podcast, how like there's that trope of a thorn getting stuck in a dragon's hand or palm or whatever. And I said One Piece did do it, and I'm pretty sure One Piece did it in multiple times. But then that day you watched the episode, I think it was in Whole Cake Island, where a lion had a thorn stuck in his palm and Luffy had to save it. And so that's like a common thing with dragons. And it could be the way that, Sommers got slammed by Loki. He's just stuck, wedged in Loki's hand. And Loki has no idea because it's just like a thorn in his side. He just thinks it's like, you know, when you're that big, I'm sure like certain things, it's like having a little scab on your leg. Sometimes you get scratches and you don't realize it, right? But it could be something like that. So Sommers, there's multiple ways. It's just that what happened to him, and also not what happened to him, how he got himself in that situation is both just so silly. So hopefully when he comes back, he gets his senses knocked into him too.
He'll come back stronger. A lot of people have been saying that Saint Sommers is kind of like a Saiyan in a sense where like he gets Zenkai boosts. So like every time he gets beaten down, he just comes back stronger and stronger.
When have we seen that?
If you close your eyes and imagine hard enough, it happened like 5 times, I think.
No, I think you're right, because when he missed the kids the first time, the second time he was going to hit them. That's strong.
True. Yeah. Yeah. No. You're so right. Yeah. So there we
That's
have it,
so
guys.
funny. Cool.
Saint Sommers, he's not done yet. As much as people just want him out of the story, he's probably gonna come back in.
Yeah, that's a good one. Next prediction was this is another one that I was like, I felt a little risky doing alongside the title. I think that just like this chapter primarily was bisected in two. Next chapter will be Luffy Loki, and then Emu, into the Holy Knights towards the end. So it's going to be bisected that way.
So this prediction is that the chapter is going to be split into two parts only.
So in this one, we have like the ODC, right? And then we have the Straw Hats, not like Jinbei, Frankie. We have the other Straw Hats, like in between that doing some stuff. That would be the mini school section, but it's primarily ODC and then the Damiurverse, right? So I'm saying it's going to be primarily Luffy, Loki getting their bearings or doing whatever they do, confronting Emu. And then in between that, there's like a mini school focus. And then at the end, it's the Holy Knights, because the Holy Knights, I think it'll be a good transition from the Emu part. But the Holy Knights reasoning is that's my fifth prediction. But yeah, I'll save that one for later. But that's why I was like, I feel like the With Despair title, and that's why I said I'm not planning on getting all of these or any of these right, because I'm interlinking them as opposed to what I did last time. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Let's be a little.
You're going for
risky,
like more specific ones, like the Despair one. You're saying that's the title, and then this one, you're like, well, this is the structure of the chapter now. Yeah. This is like more. How would I describe it? It's like asking a friend to play Call of Duty, and then he says, "Oh no, let's play chess."
I'm switching the game modes. You want to play free for all? I'm doing team deathmatch.
So next up. I'm going to say Usopp will get 4 panels.
Wait, you just went the whole, you're doing structure predictions, and then your next one was an Usopp structure prediction?
Yeah, I'm not going to let you die on a hill by yourself, man. Hello? If you're going to throw out these wacky-ass predictions, I will too. I'm not leaving you stranded on an island, man.
It's the reason why I did this though is because I like the 5th prediction the most, and I think you'll like the 5th prediction.
I might, but is it worth the sacrifice of all the other predictions?
Sometimes you just gotta. You
didn't have to do it. You know the predictions can be disjointed, right?
Yeah, I know that. You
can have predictions that even contradict each other.
Oh yeah, easily. Oh yeah, that's called hedging. That's called hedge betting.
Exactly.
But we don't hedge out here. We just go all in, baby.
So I do think Usopp will get multiple panels. It was a meme this week of like Usopp getting pretty much nothing. I say give him a couple more panels next week, Like because he didn't do anything during the Killingham thing, by the way. Like Usopp watched Zeus get eaten. Usopp watched the school get burned down to the ground almost. Usopp watched as Killingham insulted his friend. And he just sat there with his hands on his head. I think we're going to get more of Usopp. I don't think he's going to show out and show why it's his arc next week. But I think we'll simply see more of him.
Yeah, I think that it probably needs more focus. Also an issue too is like, what are his opponents though? Like, you know what I mean? Like everything's kind of saturated. So it depends on what happens next chapter. Is next chapter speed up? Like, do we increase the conflict, or are we gonna be in this like lull for a little bit where everything's kind of like being taken care of, not necessarily taken care of yet? And things like Sommer's getting back up is a big deal too, right? Because that occupies more characters. Killingham obviously isn't down for the count, but the Dream Demons, it's all a question of like, the Dream Demons, how strong, how many can he bring up? So it's interesting.
Yeah. Like a great example is that I think if the fight continues, because I think we will get more Sanji versus Killingham, but I could see Killingham maybe putting Usopp to sleep and bringing out his nightmares. Because that is one thing, people did want the Usopp Killingham matchup. Because like Usopp's number one fear. Like what is it exactly? I guess we could figure it out here, and You know, maybe it's gonna be another gag thing where his fears are just
I like that.
incomprehensible.
Be good timing. Yeah, if he goes like, which one of you guys looks like the most scared, and then you see Usopp screaming, he goes to Usopp, gets absolutely like the most cracked and deep dream demons. It'd be nuts. I mean, one of them would be like the Island Eater too, right? Like all of Usopp's like grandiose dreams and whatever. A lot of those stem from conquering them, which means that they are, you know, in ways nightmares, the villains of the dream. So this is interesting. It's interesting. Next for my number 4 is an island-wide communication about the demons and the weakness from Yarul, which we kind of already he has been like communicating, but they just figured out the dream demon thing. So I feel like there might be more to the communication. Like, oh, we got Dory and Broggy back, but I feel like there's an island-wide communication ready to like bring the unity of Elbaph. Like Loki's here, all that stuff. Like talk about all that stuff all at once. Maybe another speech.
It sounds like your classic One Piece like fodder moment. Like, you know, like something happens in an arc, and then there's like 5,000 reactions. Like, what? Yeah. No, that's Domi Reverse's answer. Like we're gonna get a panel of like Nami just turning out like, no way. And, like Zoro's doing what over there? And then we're gonna have a panel of Usopp saying, "Oh my god, like that guy's head is coming off."
Yeah. And all the kids are looking from inside the house. What are they gonna do to my mom? And then, you know, or dad? Yeah. That sounded weird when I said mom, but
you know, going off of the Viz official translation, Killingham's gonna drop his favorite line when he sees Zoro cut off somebody's head. He's gonna say, "What are those?
What are those?"
yeah, that's what Killingham says in the official.
It's so funny.
It's so funny, dude. I can't believe that was the translation for it. Island-wide communication. See, I don't think that's a bad prediction, because like I said, it feels like a filler moment for sure. Like that could eat up like a nice page or two. Yeah. But the thing is like the Domiverse Giants, they're mainly in front of the people who saw the answer. I think that's the only reason why they wouldn't do it. Because like Yarul and the gang are right here. They're squaring off against Domiverse Giants. If there were like Domiverse Giants like near the Straw Hats at the school, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, that's like really handy. But it looks like they're all just coagulated at the Western Village. So I don't think they have to like really communicate it.
That was a good word to use, coagulated there. It's not
I was thinking about it because it's like, I've been sitting down a lot. I'm like, man, any day now I'm just going to form a crazy blood clot and just die. And you guys will never know.
This is an important... I mean, do you have an ergonomic chair? You need to get a better chair. Okay, I don't mean my chair.
Yeah, I don't want like a gaming chair. I used to have one of those, and it's like, I feel like it's like negative aura when you bring somebody back. It's
yeah. I mean, this one is free, but my old chair was the ergonomic one. This one I just like because this one actually feels really nice though. Like I actually like this chair, which is why I brought it back. But most chairs, I know most gaming chairs do not feel like this one. And so that's why even the ones from this company too, like the other ones I've seen, I'm like, mine's better. But that's because I got the double XL. Like this one's supposed to fit someone. Like when my son sits with me, he can sit side by side with me in this chair. So I like that.
Damn, it's like Santa's lap.
Yeah. So he likes this chair too.
One thing I love for my desk is that I have one of those boards underneath, so I could just like.
Oh, like put your feet?
Yeah. It's like a little board, and there's like a ball underneath it, so I could just like diddle my feet under the table.
Okay. All right.
Next prediction, my final one of the video. I think just like Usopp and how he's gonna square off against Killingham as well. Sanji primarily, but Usopp side character, he's over there. Bonney will as well. That is right. Ooh. I think Bonney will fall asleep and or fight. I can't tell. And I don't want to just put like Bonnie's here. Like, yeah, she's going to be here. Yeah. But she either falls asleep or fights Killingham. Bonney-Killingham interaction, I think, would go hard. Especially since like Killingham is a Celestial Dragon Holy Knight. I would love it if he just drops. He could genuinely do it. The "I fucked your mom" line.
Yeah, I thought that's where you're gonna go
Like,
with
imagine that, dude. Oh, what's up, daughter? Ooh. Oh, well, actually, I don't know how the celestial dragon. Actually, we don't know what goes on in Shangara, but I like to imagine they talk about their favorite slaves. Imagine, hear me out. What if Killingham tells us who Bonnie's dad is? Like, he's like, "Oh, you're Shamrock's kid." Ha 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 ha. Oh, I heard Shamrock had a daughter out there. Huh. Him and slave girl number 75 just really kicked it off, huh?
When you said Bonney, I was a little confused, but then I started seeing the light. I was like, damn, like, what if Killingham's her dad? No, what if Killingham just reveals the dad? And then that would be really cool, because then that's a way to introduce a family, or introduce a new character without bringing them here. Kind of like how Loki was in Thriller Bark, right? Like, we just heard about Loki, that established a point, and then all this time we were waiting for a Loki, right? Like, we've been waiting to figure out, Bonnie's, situation. But if Killingham were to name drop, or recognize Bonney based off of, I don't know, hair color, dad, whatever the connection, name, then that'd be an interesting way to go about it. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, surely he knows. If you're a god knight, like, what are you really talking about? Like, Par knows almost everything about me. So it's like, yeah, like, surely the boys up in Shangara, they know the details about, like, oh, my bastard kid is a pirate now. That's cool.
Yeah. That's I like that. I like that Bonney being, like, brought into a focus, right? But here's my only caveat, is that, like, Bonney finding out about that without Kuma there, because I want.
Oh, he's
Kuma
there. Oh, no. Kuma's here. I hope that when Killingham says that, Bonney turns around and we see Kuma's, like, lifeless body in the background. That's my real dad. I hate that. I know somebody's gonna say it in the comment section. No, sorry, Bonnie's dad is actually Kuma. It's you know what I mean. You know what I mean. We're talking about her real dad. The OG.
Yeah, I just don't like it when people correct you when they know what you mean. Maybe on Twitter it's normal to refer to Kuma as the fake dad, but, like, I feel like people come with a bone to pick when they're like, Par, I can't believe you're not referring to her as a real dad. And it's like, yeah, but there's the sperm donor guy. What do you want me to say every single time? Like, it's just, we get it. Kuma's the dad, and then there's the other guy. And it's like, we're just going to call him dad too. Like, he's not father, right? I'm not making, like, a sentimental video here. I'm just in passing.
Yeah,
we're normal.
We're not dissecting their characters like this, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
We're shooting the shit. Yeah, no, I've had that a couple of times where I refer to, like, Bonnie's real dad, and you're like, no, it's Kuma raised her. It's like, okay, come on, be so for real, guys. You know exactly what we mean.
Yeah, like, if I knew Bonney and I was with Kuma, no shit, I would be like, yeah, that's the real dad. But I'm not. We're just talking about this real quick right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine. Bonney is not gonna hurt me, and I'm not hurting Bonney by that. It's not like Oda's gonna draw Bonney crying. Oh my god, people keep calling him my not real dad. And it's like, no, that's not happening, guys. It's okay. But speaking of things that will happen next chapter,
what's that final prediction? You've been building this up. Oh my god, you've been building this up. If this prediction is dog, I'm gonna. I think this is the last time we bring you on, man.
I think that
no more podcasts. It's over. It's done.
I think that the Holy Knights get their buff. I think at the end.
Oh, thank God! Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're saved.
It's the title's With Despair, and we were just talking about the With Pride thing. But then what we're coming off of, Sommer's just lost, Killingham just lost, Gunko's in Emu, and Gunko's a separate entity. The Dream Demons are going to lose. The school's not on fire anymore, and the Damiaverse is now taken care of. So the way I see it is Luffy, Loki start off the chapter. They're confronting Emu. There's that island-wide communication about how we're going to win. Everything's blah, blah, blah. And Emu's just like, not so fast or something like that. And then it transitions into like what Sai was saying, Sommers gets up and you know Killian gets it back up, but they're buffed. I think now is the time to, if we are going to give them a buff, kind of like, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but like the Gorosei having the transformations, showing up, that I feel like it's going to be that level of going from one Saturn to five Gorosei. It's going to feel like that, where like now we're dealing with some insane stuff where it's not just an Ifrit Jambe kick and Killingham looks like Charlos. No, it's going to be like an actual straight up buff. And I feel like it's a risky thing to put all the things together, but off of a break week, I feel like it's a good time. We're feeling good, everything feels fine, and then boom, hit us with that despair, hit us with that counter. This is the perfect time. And it's also a good time to throw everything that like the Straw Hats have, or the Giants also have figured out, on its head a little bit. Because like we were talking about this on the podcast, but like what if, yeah, they feel like they figured out the Dom University, but what if there's like another level to it that they just didn't see yet, and it's coincidental at this moment, right? Like Dory and Brogy, they slashed each other's heads off. Maybe that doesn't necessarily translate to, you know, just straight up getting your head lopped off. So it might play well that Luffy Loki confront Emu. Emu goes like, "Aren't you worried about your friends or something?" Luffy's like, "Nah, my Nakama's got it." And then Loki hits us with the line of like, "No, the giants of Elbaph are stronger than ever," blah blah blah, or something like that. Which that would be a complete lie coming from his mouth. But point is that they hit us with that, you know, feels good. Oh yeah, they're winning, and then Emu goes, "Despair," or something, "with despair," or something like that. Emu's super good at like those like the language, the poetic lines. So I feel like it's a really good time because we diffused all of the scenarios basically. And doesn't feel like there's a lot of threats anymore. To now, boom, introduce the threat, give them a buff. It's time. That's the fifth prediction.
I mean, this is something we've talked about a lot. Like, the God Knights literally do need a buff. And we know they can get buffed because Emu is the one who gave them their powers at the beginning. So this just makes a lot of sense. I hope it happens. I've been praying for a God Knight buff for a while now. I guess an equivalent Bleach Resurrection, right? They just have a second form that's ready to go. I think that would just be beautiful. I just don't know if that's next chapter. Like, I feel like maybe after Killingham loses fully, or maybe like Emu's pushed back a little bit, but I wouldn't mind a next chapter. I think that would be cool. You know, give them like a transformation, maybe even an awakening that's infused with Emu demon powers. Just something to make them really stand out. Because you're right, like, as much of a meme as it is online to say, there genuinely are no stakes here at Elbaph. Like, everything has been wrapped up. Like, you can see the happy ending in the distance. Like, even with Emu here, it's like, we know the plot that Emu wanted, it's not happening. The kids are saved. The school is extinguished. Like, you know, Emu, the best they can do is leave the island looking good via fighting. So why not go down swinging with all the God Knights?
Yeah, or a buff, or a substantial buff. You could bring in other people too, but yeah, like with the God Knights here, buff them. Like you said, like the kids primarily. I forgot to mention them, but like all the data points, Killingham is still. I feel like preserving Killingham so that he doesn't end up the way Sommers was, where he's like 6 feet under or whatever, or 20 feet under, could make sense. Like the transition point, like Gunko hasn't lost, right? That weird play where Brook held off Gunko did feel weird, but this is the time. This is the time, and like you said, if we got 1176 and it wasn't break week, I probably wouldn't have said this, because I think that the break week is what is like making me feel like it's now Emu's turn, essentially, if that makes sense. Like if we're playing a board game, now it's Emu's turn to do the combo. Luffy's side did it. They did the dragon reveal. They did Luffy's coming up. Sommer's taken down. Killingham's down. Kids saved. School's saved. We did the combo. The combo's done. Emu's turn for combo. It's balls in their court. That's kind of how I look at it. And Emu would be the transitional part from that bisected 2-part chapter where Luffy, Loki, Emu transitions us to the second part where it starts making everything insanely strong. I don't know what that buff looks like, but like Sai said, in several podcasts now and streams, we've talked about what kind of buffs there could be. And I went as silly as like, bro, they should just take every drug there is in the series. Fatal fuel, steroid thing, like
They
just
need
so many
something,
different
man.
things. Yeah, they need something. They need something. And I think like imagine the alternative guys. Like what would next chapter be if Emu and the Holy Knight stay down? It would just be the start of Elbaph, where everyone's just like casual besides the Dami Reversely. But like realistically, how long is it gonna take for them to stop their own like the giant pirates? Like it's not gonna take that long. Like
Yeah, especially now
Dorian
that
Broglie,
Dorian Brogy are on our side again. It's like, yeah, like they literally have no one, no heavy hitters there. So yeah, we need like someone to come back and like give us a fight. Well, that being said, we will catch you guys later. Again, major shouts to Par. Thank you so much for joining us in this little video. Everybody really did love you though. You know, they said please more Par.
all
I said
right.
I will try my best. You know, when it comes to Par, he's kind of like a celebrity, really. You might have seen him in some Bollywood movies, so you know his schedule is
In the
just fucking
thumbnails.
it's crazy. Yeah. So, you know, I'm glad he took time out of his busy acting schedule to come and grace us with his presence.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Catch you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.